Have you felt a wave of change moving through your life? You're no longer who you were, but you don't yet know who you're becoming. That's your inner transformer calling to you. In this video, I'll show you how to recognize that energy moving through you and how to work with it with a guided meditation to support you to connect to your expansive wisdom. Hello, I'm Sheila Bélanger, a transformation coach and archetypal astrologer. I have decades of experience helping to translate the powerful wisdom of the sky, the planets, down to earth for you as practical wisdom. And I look forward to supporting you in this video to do just that.
Astrology is one of the great languages of our individual psyche's pulsing relationship to the collective dream. Isn't that awesome? It's true. That's one of the things that astrology gives us. Now, I want to remind you, I keep bringing you the concept is not mine, it belongs to the collective, the edge. That boundary between your identity and your new and unknown experiences, and being able to navigate the edge with awareness so you don't get caught in fear, your dominated mindset, enculturated mind that I'm too afraid to change, and you go back to your old ways. You say, okay, I'll bear the tension of not knowing as I grow into where I'm going, what my future self is, what my evolving self is. So we want to resource you at the edge. And, in the midst of such personal and collective initiatory edges of change, it's extraordinary. It's off the scale how much is going on externally and internally. You want to tap into an expansive mindset to help you navigate in these crazy times, really challenging times. And I'll remind you, okay, the cunning folk community, those practitioners of folk medicine who lived at the edge of the village, they had some deep capacities because they knew how to expand their consciousness by aligning with archetypal and mythic worlds as expressed through the heavens. They were sky watchers who tracked the planetary and star cycles, and they interpreted the cycles to support them to navigate outer seasonal and inner spiritual changes. They use the sky to navigate changes. And by cultivating this ancient expansive wisdom, your sky wisdom, you can begin to get free of that mechanistic and colonial mindset to really open up your inherent big wisdom, your expansive wisdom. And you can access your expansive wisdom with archetypal astrology. And here's another quote from Anne Nordhaus. For all its complexity, however, astrology remains fundamentally simple. It offers a time-honored system of symbols that sum up key aspects of human life while providing profound insights and practical guidance. It's a navigational tool, very powerful ancient navigational tool where as we track the external movement of the planets, we are understanding symbolically the inner changes that we're in, personally and collectively. Now, what is astrology? It's the study of how planets and their cyclic patterns symbolically resonate with human life. And the planets are symbolic of your core inner figures. They were named after mythic gods, goddesses, and characters. So, for example, Mercury is the messenger god, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, and so forth. I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. And then archetype, just to remind you, or a way of defining it, is arca first, type, model. Really, archetypes are energies that have been present since beginning of time and are inherent in our collective existence, often found in the imaginal realm, such as imagery, poetry, metaphor. They're very powerful because they're collective. We think of some of the archetypal characters we all are aware of, the mother, the hero, the wizard, the guide. I mean, these evoke something deep in us on a collective level. They're very powerful because they are collective. And from a spiritual perspective, a planet symbolizes an archetype, a universal principle or force that expresses in the human psyche and societal behavior on many levels. Now, the planets in our solar system, these are archetypes that represent expanded parts of yourself. So we're working with that expanded wisdom again. And here's another quote. This is from medium.com in a particular article on this. Shamanic astrology is the articles about that. They say, by reflecting on a planetary archetype, you are effectively exploring a highly developed element of the collective unconscious in a context relative to your soul's evolutionary path. Now, that's a big quote. Whoa, let's pause for a moment. Essentially, it's helping us understand symbolically what the cunning folk knew, which is as we make meaning out of the heavens and the movements of the planets and the stars, that helped us understand something more deep in our soul's journey. Welcome to Pluto and Aquarius. This is a particularly planetary cycle where the planet Pluto appears to be in the Aquarius part of the star wheel between 2023 to 2043. And many astrologers see this as a time when the collective reclaims its power, as each person reclaims the power of their authentic visionary identity, their sacred otherness. This comes from Aquarius being a sign that has to do with being unique and different and just doing your thing. And Pluto is the great transformer. So, and it's about power. And so, this sense of reclaiming the power of your authenticity and being courageous enough to be who you are and to stop trying to fit in. That's a quote from Victoria Erickson. Transformation isn't sweet and bright. Okay. It's a dark and murky, painful pushing, an unraveling of the untruths you've carried in your body, a practice in facing your own created demons, a complete unrooting before becoming. So, planetary archetypes, Pluto. This is the symbol on the left, the astrological and astronomical symbol, one of them for Pluto. And then there's a sort of image of Pluto. Yes, it's seen as a dwarf planet by the astronomers. I always say, I don't call it a dwarf planet. It represents the god and goddess of the underworld, the god of hell. You go tell the deity of the underworld that you've demoted that one to a dwarf planet. You see what happens. They're like, don't do that. So it's the inner transformer, and it has everything to do about empowerment. So there's two mythic figures I want to bring to you with Pluto. One is mythic Pluto, the king of the underworld, the god of the dead, the god of wealth and abundance. Very intense character. You may remember from mythology, Pluto abducts Persephone, the innocent goddess, and takes her into the underworld, and she becomes the queen of the underworld. And her story is very much about initiation and coming into your own power. And Pluto is an agent of deep transformation that can be very painful. So there's mythic Pluto. And then there's mythic Inanna. This is a Mesopotamian queen who is really the goddess of love, fertility, and wars. Very powerful, powerful goddess figure. And one of the main parts of her mythic story is her initiatory descent into the underworld to meet with her dark sister, Erishkigal. If you know this myth, she goes down into the underworld and she keeps having to strip off her queenly, her robe, give her scepter, her crown. So she goes naked into the underworld to meet with her shadow, her dark sister. And then she's reborn. So she's a powerful symbol of this death rebirth of the Pluto energy as an archetype. So archetypal Pluto, I call this one the transformer, the revealer of the hidden, the inner transformer. And this character in us in the world brings us the gift of depths and potent change. This one in you in the world wants deep systemic change, to be real, to get down to the bones, to cut the bullshit. And this one's not afraid to explore taboo subjects and themes such as power, sex, death, and rebirth, literal death as well as symbolic death. So it's a very deep transformational archetype. And some of the qualities of this one in you in the world give you the ability to release what's finished, to long for the depths and to be real, to track what's taboo and under the surface. The inner transformer in us is saying, wait, the emperor has no clothes. What is this bullshit? Like something else is going on. This one in us catalyzes our inner shadow work, meaning what are we denying about ourselves? It's not bad, but we're denying it. We need to claim it. Transmutes the poison of duplicity and power over the negative, harmful power systems inside and out. This one in you is relentlessly drawn to regeneration and evolution, does not want status quo. It's focused and at times obsessive, takes no, bullshit. It's not gray. It's like we're doing it, boom, 100%. And it's connected with your inner transformer. Now let's pause for a moment because I just evoked a very powerful character in you. And in a moment, I want to give you the option to have a guided journey to meet with this one because we can all use a healthy connection to our inner transformer. We all have something up right now that needs to be released and finished. We all have things we're denying to try to be good and make nice and people please. And we got to stop it. We got to say, this is honestly how I feel. This is honestly what's going on. How can I cleanly claim that? Okay. And we all are ready to make some deep, deep changes. So I want to give you a guided expansive wisdom practice, which is a guided journey to connect to your inner transformer. Okay, let me